The House will come to order. Welcome, members. 16th day of session, 2026, February the 27th, 68th Wyoming Legislators Budget Session. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone in the gallery and that will be joining us here later on through the course of the day. Glad to have you. First off, and first order of business is our roll call. So our good Assistant Chief Clerk will please do the roll, and then we will be underway.
Convening roll call for the 16th day, February 27th, 2026. Alamand, Andrew, Angelos, Banks, Bear, Brady, Bratton, Brown Gary, Brown Landon, Byron, Campbell Elisa, Campbell Kevin, Chestick, Clouston, Connolly, Davis, Erickson, Byler, Bornstrom, Geringer, Guggenmoss, Haraldson, Harshman, Heiner, Heft, Jarvis, Johnson, Kelly, Knapp, Larson Lloyd, Larson JT, Lolly, Lean, Locke, Lucas, McCann, Nicholas, Ottman, Pendergraft, Posey, Provenza, Riggins, Rodriguez Williams, Schmid, Sherwood, Singh, Smith, Storer, Strock, Stivar, Tarver, Thayer, Washit, Wasserberger, Webb, Weber, Wharf, Williams, Winter, Wiley, Yin, Mr. Speaker, Sherwood,
We've got, well, let's see. Yeah, go ahead and close it, and those two can come on in. We know we have two of them that are not feeling well today, one gone and one not feeling well, so please close it.
58 present, 4 excused.
Thank you very much, Assistant Chief Clerk. This morning, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please rise, and also in the gallery, our prayer is being led by Reverend Jonathan Lang out of Our Savior Lutheran Church of Evanston, Wyoming. Reverend Lang, please open us in prayer.
Let us pray. Almighty God, merciful Father, receive our thanks for the men and women whom you have called here to deliberate laws for the peaceable governance of your land. Grant them the gift of wisdom and understanding for the solemn task that you have laid before them. Fill their hearts with a sense of duty and dedication to their noble calling. Grant the grace to speak with clarity and charity, so that your voice would be heard on this floor. Bless the outcome of their work so that the families of Wyoming may be blessed both now and in years to come. Protect and prolong their lives. Protect their good names. Support their families as they are absent, and keep them safe as they travel home. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Yes, please join me in. Thank you, everyone. I'll go on to our Journal Committee report. Reading Clerk.
Your Journal Committee reports that the Journal of February 26, 2026 has been read and recommends that it be approved. Representatives Posey and Jarvis.
Okay, and today we have with us our doctor of the day and nurse of the day is Dr. Angus McAlpin, and our nurse of the day is Darcy Cowarden. So they will be with us looking after us. There they are. So you know who they are? Thank you for making time to be with us today, doctor and nurse, and we hope that you will have a very uneventful day. But thank you for being here and making yourself available. We very much appreciate it. Okay, we've got Representative Filer's got something to get this day started off on the right foot, I trust. Representative Filer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I have a quick privilege?
Yes, you may.
All right, folks. This one is for Representative Singh. All right. What do baby cats, or where do baby cats learn to swim? In the kiddie pool.
Okay. Representative Smith, do you have something for us, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Privilege of the floor.
Please proceed.
All righty. In the West Gallery, I have three wonderful ladies visiting from Goshen County. They are the leadership team of the Goshen County Right to Life. Let's welcome them.
Welcome and thank you for all you do. Appreciate you being here and taking time today to spend with us here at the house. Thank you for being here. Life is worth fighting for, no question. Representative Riggins, do you have something that you'd like to share? You're holding there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Privilege of the floor.
By all means, proceed, sir.
We've had a lot of talk about healthcare this last few weeks, and it starts with the people that are working and helping every day, most notably nurses. So I would like to introduce in the North Gallery, from the home of the Thunderbirds, nursing school, their instructor, Ms. Locks, director, Tina King, and the nurses under the training program that should be standing up there anytime. There you go.
Thank you for being here and welcome to the house. Thank you for your occupation and what you're seeking to do with your life. What a worthwhile thing to do, to be able to help and to serve the people and to help them to recover and to be well. Representative Larson, do you have something for us, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members in our South Gallery, we have some scouts from Scouts of America, and I'd just like to welcome them to the house.
Welcome to the house. Thankful to have you here. Appreciate you taking time to come and share with us and learn a little bit more about the legislature and how things all operate government-wise here in this branch of our government. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have one thing I need to read here for you all to know, and then we're going to get into our special guests here today, unless we have some other announcements, which I don't see anybody at the microphones yet. Nope, Representative Ottman. Please.
Privilege, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, please.
Yes, I would like to say I'm looking forward to this Friday, but also with all the special people that we have here today. And I was very, very surprised just a few minutes ago when I realized that Chad Rose is here with some of the music here. Chad and I worked together in an elementary school in Pavilion, Wind River Elementary, a few years ago, and now he's in Sheridan with this group. So anyways, I just wanted to let you know he's a wonderful teacher and very, very talented, and we'll get to see that in just a little while.
All right, now you got us all wondering and waiting now with bated breath. Representative Ottman, thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today is the deadline for interim topic submissions. Please submit your proposed topics using the form on the website no later than noon today. Interim topics in by noon today. As a reminder, suggested topics may originate from any source, but the topic must be submitted and presented to joint committees by a legislator. All members who have a suggested topic submitted under their name will be provided an opportunity to object to any of the topics prior to this being forwarded to the committee. So please watch your inbox over the next weekend for details, and joint committees will begin meeting next week to discuss these proposed interim topics. So today at noon is the deadline. Please get your interim topics in by today at noon. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, next, this morning we are honored to welcome the Cheyenne Chamber Singers under the direction of Sean Ambrose, now celebrating its 35th season of performances in Cheyenne. They're a distinguished ensemble of amateur and professional musicians and music educators. They will be sharing our national anthem and a Wyoming song. Representatives, please join me in welcoming them to the house.
We will be doing the national anthem, so please stand. We move cover.
Oh, great can you see by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we had at the twilight's last gleaming, whose rough stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, when the rockets to sing, they from the high, and our flag was still red. Oh, say does the star-spangled banner yet on the land of the free?
Thank you for allowing us to be here this morning and share a little bit of music with you all. My name is Sean Ambrose. I am a former music educator and was the music supervisor here in Cheyenne for many decades. My first time singing in this chamber was as a member of the All City Children's Chorus before some of you were born. However, it's always a pleasure to come in and share a little bit of music. It's fun for me that Chad Rose is here with his students, as he was a student at Lusk High School when I student taught with his parents, who were also music educators from Lusk. So fourth grade, he was in fourth grade. Thank you for telling them how old I am, Chad. The second selection we're going to do, and thank you for allowing us, is the original Wyoming State song. Many of you will know this, some of you may not. This song was adopted by the 33rd Wyoming State Legislature. So if you've got your math going, we know how long ago that was. This was actually written in 1955. We're going to do a portion of it because there's a lot of verses. So we're only going to do one, but please enjoy the original official Wyoming State song. Gotta make sure I give him the right pitch. Double check. Sorry, it's not quite right. Here we go. 2. No, still didn't get it right. It'd be nothing but no. There's the bass note. Here we go. And 2. My holy land of the sunlight, clear Wyoming.
When the mountain rocky step, there's Wyoming mountain strong. But still, land of the sunlight, clean water. Land that we hold so dear, my home, my home. Branches of tower and cloud. Wyoming, Wyoming. You love and say from now.
Thank you all for having us. This group of people is playing hooky from work this morning so they could come sing, which is why we're dressed in all of our fine apparel. And of course, you will notice that one of your members is also one of my members. So thank you all for having us. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you, Chamber Singers, for doing this. What a blessing. Is there any way you guys can be here every morning and open with the national anthem?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. Isn't that awesome? Ladies and gentlemen, next, believe it or not, we get double blessing this morning, a double portion of some wonderful music here for us. We are now pleased to welcome the Sheridan High School Jazz Quartet and band director Chad Rose. The Sheridan High School Band has a proud 60-year legacy as one of Wyoming's premier scholastic music programs. Today's musicians are Grant Mason, Blake Anderson, Braylon Lucky, and Lorenzo Cherry. The three seniors will be attending the University of Wyoming. They are performing El Choclo, which translates to the Corn Cob by Angel Bol. Oh yeah, wow. I really should have looked at this first. Villodo. Is that right, Erickson? Okay, all right. The students are here today as guests of the Wyoming Arts Alliance, which is hosting Wyoming's Arts and Culture Day at the Capitol. Representative, please join me in welcoming the Sheridan High School Jazz Quartet.
Once again, thank you for having us. I'd just like to make a quick reminder that we're here to support the arts and to show how important they are to Wyoming and the students. And so with that, we're not here with Lorenzo Cherry, but a sophomore, Grant Mason. So we're happy to have him. And Yoga. And Cameron. And then Cameron Zoltz, of course. This is Braylon Lucky. And then I'm not Chad Rose, I'm Blake Anderson, a senior here. And then again, as the chair stated, we're playing El Choclo for you from A.G. Fioldo, and then arranged by Kenneth Abelman. Speaker stands.
Now, if you gentlemen, before you guys leave, yeah, split up and go down the aisles. You gotta go down the aisle so these folks can talk to you. Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am. That is awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming. What a blessing to be able to enjoy that first thing this morning. So, and for those that are in attendance in the gallery, see, it pays to come and watch the Wyoming House, doesn't it? Because man, what an opportunity we've had this morning to hear some incredible talent that they was able to come and bring that to our chamber. So, and then you have something, Representative Pendergraph, I think is important to this part of the event.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chad Rose, this is your life. To be fair to Chad, when he first came in and I met him, he said, this is not about me. He says, this is about the kids. And they did a terrific job. But one of the things I discovered in meeting him was that his grandfather served in this chamber 1970, 1971, and is up in the gallery.
A lot of heritage, a lot of connection.
His picture's in the gallery. I'm sorry for the confusion.
You guys were really good. And you know, you can tell when those kids were playing, you really got something going when you got legislators out doing kind of a cha-cha thing going out there in the middle. And so that was awesome. So what a wonderful opportunity. Okay, next, we also have something very neat to do here, ladies and gentlemen. This young lady standing at the microphone, as you've gotten the opportunity to be able to work with her, is Miss Sydney Goff. And she is going to give, she's done this week. And so she is going to get an opportunity to be able to address you right now. So Ms. Goff, if you would like to address the chamber, please do so.
Good morning, everybody. I just
Ms.
wanted
Goff.
to take a moment and say thank you. Serving as a student page at the Wyoming State Capitol this week has been an experience I will carry with me for a long time. Being able to witness the legislative process up close, seeing how ideas are debated, challenged, and shaped into policy has given me a deeper appreciation for public service and the responsibility that comes with it. I want to specifically thank Katie for providing me with this special opportunity and setting an example of professionalism and integrity. I also want to thank Patty for her willingness to answer my questions, and I had many, making my experience not just educational, but also meaningful. And of course, for your unwavering kindness. I also know if I didn't thank Rick, he would have deeply hurt feelings. So Rick, thank you for providing lots of comedic relief and mid-session snacking and helping me feel welcome. Next year, I plan to attend college and pursue a master's in psychology with the hopes of becoming a child life specialist. I want to work with children and families navigating medical challenges, helping them feel safe, supported, and understood during some of the hardest moments of their lives. Being here this week has reinforced for me how much policy shapes those experiences. Access to healthcare, mental health resources, education, and family support systems aren't abstract issues. They're deeply personal. Young people are watching. We're paying attention to how decisions are made and who they impact. We are listening to the conversations about equality, healthcare, education, opportunity, etc., because we will inherit the outcomes. With the work done in this building matters deeply, and I appreciate all of your work and dedication. I hope using what I have learned this week to build a Wyoming and country where conversations are open, compassion and science guide decision, and where opportunity and fairness are extended to everyone. Thank you again for all your hard work, dedication, and leadership that you provide and allowing me to be a part of the process. It's been an honor.
Yeah, you're not going to get away that easy. That was very, very sweet. Very good. And thank you, Ms. Goff, for all of your efforts here in this chamber. We appreciate getting to work with you. You are truly a blessing to us, and we look forward to the success that you will have in your life. What a wonderful young lady. All right, I got messages from the Senate. Oh, I'm sorry, Representative Wharf. You were hidden by the screen. I'm sorry. Representative Wharf, do you have something for us, sir? Please.
Privilege of the floor, Mr.
Absolutely,
Speaker.
Representative Wharf.
Thank you. And I know I snuck up on you, and that is a hard act to follow, I must admit. But I wanted, if I could, introduce a couple people here today. One of them is a very near and dear friend of mine from Uinta County. She has helped me on numerous occasions. She's kind of helped teach me some of the ropes as a novice politician. I guess she's one that's kind of helped me learn the ropes, some of the party stuff. But I'd like to welcome Elizabeth, or Biffy Jackson. She's up there. Stand up, Biff, so they can see you. And sitting next to Biff happens to be a very fine camera operator. She's helped me in the past. She also happens to be a distant cousin, we learned. But this is Joe's wife. Welcome her to the house as well, please. Thank you.
Miss Webb, Miss Jackson, welcome to the house. Thank you for being here. So, all right, Representative Sherwood, you have something?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you would please get out your calendar, I have an important date for you to write down. In the vein of celebrating the humanities, there was a news release that went out today celebrating the civics lab that will officially open down in the extension on Tuesday at 9. I would invite you all to join me for a ribbon cutting ceremony. What you will see in there hopefully will inspire you to bring back your friends and your family, and to let your school district know that this is going to be an amazing opportunity for our young people to come and learn civics in Wyoming, the 3 branches of government. And I won't spoil it for you, but I will say that it's very vibrant space. It's inspired after sort of a comic book styling. So it's very accessible to our young people, but I have served on this committee and have learned a lot in the process of how these stories have come together to help people interact with Wyoming civics. So please join me on Tuesday at 9 a.m. for the ribbon cutting of our civics lab.
Thank you, Representative Sherwood. Any other announcements or anything from members? We good? Don't want to miss anyone. Next, we have messages from the Senate. Reading clerk.
Message 208. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate Joint Resolution 1, State Management, Federal Mineral Leases. Ayes 30, excused 1. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk.
That's it. Standing committee reports. Reading clerk, please, sir.
Senate File 50, sponsored by Senator Love. State Engineer, Surface and Groundwater Study, an act relating to water. Mr. Speaker, your committee number 5, Agriculture, State and Public Lands and Water Resources, to whom is referred Senate File 50 engrossed. State Engineers Surface and Groundwater Study. Respect the report, same back to the House with the recommendation that do pass. Ayes. Representatives Banks, Davis, Bornstrom, Johnson, Ottman, Provenza, Schmid, Strzok, Winter. Representative Winter, Chairman. This bill was re-referred to Committee number 2, Appropriations. Mr. Speaker, your Committee number 2, Appropriations, to whom is referred Senate File 50 engrossed. State Engineer, Surface and Groundwater Study. Respectful report, same back to the House with the recommendation that do pass. Ayes. Representatives Alaman, Harrelson, Pendergraft, Sherwood, Smith. Noes. Representatives Angelos and Bear. Representative Bear, Chairman. Senate File 57, sponsored by Senator Brennan. Transparency in hospital service pricing, an act relating to public health and safety. Mr. Speaker, your Committee number 10, Labor, Health, and Social Services, to whom is referred Senate File 57 engrossed. Transparency and hospital service pricing. Respect the report, same back to the House with the recommendation that do pass with the following amendments. Ayes. Representatives Clouston, Guggenmoss, Heft, McCann, Ottman, Rodriguez-Williams, Thayer, Wasserberger, Yin. Representative Rodriguez-Williams, Chairman. Senate File 69, sponsored by Water. Waste and Stormwater Infrastructure Study, an act relating to water. Mr. Speaker, your Committee number 5, Agriculture, State and Public Lands and Water Resources, to whom is referred Senate File 69 engrossed. Waste and Stormwater Infrastructure Study. Respect the report, same back to the House with the recommendation that do pass. Ayes. Representatives Banks, Davis, Fornstrom, Johnson, Ottman, Provenza, Schmid, Strzok, Winter. Representative Winter, Chairman. This bill was re-referred to Committee number 2, Appropriations. Mr. Speaker, your Committee number 2, Appropriations, to whom is referred Senate File 69 engrossed. Waste and Stormwater Infrastructure Study. Respectfully report, same back to the House with the recommendation that do pass. Ayes, Representatives Alaman, Angelos, Haroldson, Pendergraft, Sherwood, Smith. Noes, Representative Bear. Representative Bear, Chairman. Senate File 87, sponsored by Senator Kolb. Felony interference with a police officer amendments. An act relating to crimes and offenses. Mr. Speaker, your committee number 1, Judiciary, to whom is referred Senate File 87 engrossed. Felony interference with a police officer amendments. Respectfully report, same back to the House with the recommendation do pass with the following amendments. Ayes, Representatives Brady, Bratton, Filer, Singh, Washit, Webb. Noes, Representative Chestick. Excused, Representative Kelly and Lean. Representative Washit, Chairman. Senate File 109, sponsored by Senator Boner. Cowboy State Agricultural Trust Fund, an act relating to the administration of government. Mr. Speaker, your committee number 5, Agriculture, State and Public Lands and Water Resources, to whom is referred Senate File 109 engrossed, Cowboy State Agricultural Trust Fund. Respectfully report, same back to the House with the recommendation that do pass. Ayes, Representatives Banks, Davis, Fornstrom, Ottman, Provenza, Schmid, Strock, Winter. Noes, Representative Johnson. Representative Winter, Chairman. This bill was re-referred to Committee number 2, Appropriations. Mr. Speaker, your Committee number 2, Appropriations, to whom is referred Senate File 109 engrossed. Cowboy State Agricultural Trust Fund. Respectfully report, same back to the House with the recommendation that it do pass failed. Ayes, Representative Sherwood. Noes, Representatives Alaman, Angelos, Bear, Haroldson, Pendergraft, Smith. Representative Bear, Chairman.
Thank you, Reading Clerk. Oh, you got one more? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Senate File 111, sponsored by Senator Kolb. Select Committee on Gaming, an act relating to the Legislature. Mr. Speaker, your Committee number 1, Judiciary, to whom is referred Senate File 111 engrossed. Select Committee on Gaming. Respectfully report, same back to the House with the recommendation that do pass. Ayes, Representatives Brady, Bratton, Chestick, Filer, Singh, Washit, Webb. Excused, Representative Kelly and Lean. Representative Washit, Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Reading Clerk. All right. We've got some re-referrals here. All right, Senate File 84, Vice Chair Banks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to re-refer Senate File 84 to Committee number 2, Appropriations.
All right, seeing no objection, that's very good, sir. And then also I also have one re-referral from Chairman Washit. It's all right, sir. It's not a race. It's a marathon. It's a marathon.
Mr. Speaker, I'm asked that Senate File 111 be re-referred to Committee number 2.
Senate File 111 being re-referred to Committee number 2. Thank you, Chairman. Here you go, ladies. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are at that order of business of signing of enrolled acts. The first enrolled act for our consideration is enrolled joint resolution number 1. Reading Clerk.
Senate enrolled joint resolution number 1 being original Senate Joint 1. A joint resolution requesting Congress to introduce a bill to enact law to amend the Federal Mineral Leasing Act to authorize the state of Wyoming to administer the managed mineral leasing on federal lands located in Wyoming. Whereas in 1920, Congress enacted into law the Mineral Leasing Act, which authorizes the leasing of federal lands for the exploration and development of minerals owned by the United States. And whereas the Mineral Leasing Act governs energy minerals, including oil, gas, and coal, and solid leasable materials, including phosphate, potassium, sodium, and oil shale. And whereas the Mineral Leasing Act authorizes the United States Secretary of the Interior to lease and regulate the development of minerals owned by the United States. And whereas the Secretary delegated authority under the Mineral Leasing Act to the Bureau of Land Management, a federal agency that is part of the United States Department of Interior. And whereas the BLM administered the leasing program for minerals on federal lands, including federal lands controlled by BLM and the federal lands under the jurisdiction of other federal agencies. And whereas the federal administration of mineral leasing on federal lands in Wyoming over the past 10 years has been inconsistent, unpredictable, and subject to potential delays that negatively impact Wyoming's economy, energy, industry, and citizens. Whereas the federal administration of mining leasing has been subjected to prolonged leasing moratoriums, regulatory uncertainty, and delayed environmental reviews under the National Environmental Policy Act that have resulted in a decrease in mineral activity on federal lands within Wyoming. And whereas even after federal lands in Wyoming are leased and the federal government retains legal title to the federal lands and the federal government receives money from sales, bonuses, royalties, and rentals from federal mineral leasing, and whereas Wyoming's management of mineral leasing on state lands demonstrates that Wyoming can adequately and efficiently manage and administer mineral leasing on federal lands, and whereas Wyoming possesses an unparalleled understanding of land within its borders, making Wyoming better equipped than the federal government to administer and manage mineral leasing on federal lands located within the state. And whereas Wyoming could administer and manage mineral leasing on federal lands located within the state more efficiently and at a lower cost than the federal government. And whereas Wyoming has knowledge of the state's unique terrain, geology, wildlife, habitats, and ecosystems, which enables Wyoming to assess site-specified environmental impacts more accurately and quickly, and tailoring leasing decisions to local conditions. And whereas Wyoming state agencies are in constant communication with local governments, landowners, and industry stakeholders, which will result in the more responsive, efficient, and balanced decision-making process regarding mineral leasing and in a manner that reflects Wyoming's policies and priorities. And whereas authorizing Wyoming to administer and manage mineral leasing of federal minerals not only respects the principles of federalism and local control, but also ensures that decisions are made by those who know the land best and are most invested in its long-term sustainability. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the members of the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
If he's not going to say it, I'll say it. Anyway, so, all right. I am about to sign Enrolled Act number 1, having been original Senate Joint Resolution number 1. I have so signed. Okay, next Enrolled Act for our consideration, Enrolled Act number 1, again from the Senate.
Enrolled Act number 1, being original Senate File 2, an act relating to appropriations for the legislature, providing appropriations for the operation of the legislative branch of state government, providing for terms and conditions and other requirements relating to appropriations for the remainder of the current biennium ending June 30th, 2026, and the period of the budget is specified, providing for carryover of certain funds beyond the biennium as specified, and providing for effective dates, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act number 1, having been original Senate File number 2. I have so signed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the 2 enrolled acts we have. Now we're going to go on into second reading, I believe. Double check. Don't miss a step here. Okay, bills on second reading. We are at that order of business on bills on second reading. First bill for consideration, Senate File number 4. Reading clerk.
Senate File 4, sponsored by Labor, Medicaid Rate Increase, EMS Services, an act relating to medical assistance and services.
We have amendments. Representative Sherwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move I move second reading amendment number 1 and ask for your favorable consideration.
There you
Ladies
go.
and gentlemen, this bill refers to how much is reimbursed for EMS services through Medicaid. And it would align that rate with what is currently reimbursed through Medicare. First, I want to thank the folks that worked on this in the interim. This is a really important bill. I want to say thank you for the time that was put into it. During testimony, when this bill was in front of your appropriators, I asked the question, or we heard in testimony that even with this rate increase to 100%, we're still only paying 87 cents on the dollar for the services. So there's still a gap. So I thought, well, if we're going to do it, let's do it right and get to that dollar for dollar coverage. This is also kind of top of mind, as in this year alone, I have seen too many people have had to receive EMS services that are not fully reimbursed. I think we saw an incident on the House floor and then an event last night. So committee, what this amendment does is take it to 110% of the reimbursable rate so that we can get to actual costs. The benefit of doing this is right now our private care costs are astronomical. And that's where our EMS providers are trying to make up the difference. Because we're only currently paying, 66%, they have to charge private pay higher. So if we can get up to this 110%, which is dollar for dollar coverage, I think that those private pay costs will also go down, which is an added benefit to this. So ladies and gentlemen, the appropriation changes from 1.3 million general funds matched 50% by federal funds to 1.4 million general funds, and then again matched by federal funds. And so we don't lose that 50% matched by the federal government. And with that, I will ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Representative. Members, for your first time on the amendment? Representative Campbell, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Absolutely on and in favor of this amendment, and to hopefully encourage your favorable consideration, I wanted to give you some statistics from a municipality in my county. Currently, they average $217 of reimbursement per ambulance ride for a Medicaid patient. What it actually costs them is $1,888 per day per staff to maintain and operate the ambulance. So in 2025, they had 60 Medicaid claims. It was $108,000. How much were they reimbursed? $13,000. $13,000 of $108,000. You can see why this is so critically important to our municipalities. So please vote in favor of the amendment and the bill.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Stivar, for your first time, sir, on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is the maintenance effort is this going to change the maintenance effort? So if another legislature comes back in and tries to pull some of that, is that going to affect that where it's going to be permanent forever with the maintenance effort? Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Rodriguez-Williams, please, first time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On and opposed to the amendment. What we heard in committee is that this is a great start to a growing problem. Let's start here. Let's keep it where it's at with a good committee number 10 work the bill and leave it as is.
Any other members, first time on the amendment? Representative Bear, first for a second, Representative Bear. Any others on the amendment? Representative Harrelson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So as we heard this in Good Committee number 2, one of the things that we need to understand, this brings us back to 100%. So it's instead of having the disparity between Medicaid, Medicare, this brings it back to a straight even line. And I think the question we need to start asking ourselves, because if you actually look at it, everything's all over the map. And I think that having them track each other is a brilliant way of doing it and probably how we need to do it in the future. So I'd be on and oppose this, bringing it to 110 and asking the question maybe more so in the future as we have these task force and working groups working with our good department that oversees our health, is what does that look like to kind of bring everything to where it's an even playing field? And then asking the question, is that a good even playing field? Because I think that as we sit there and go, well, this is 80% and that's 110% and this might be 70%. And why are we doing that? Let's have that conversation. The reimbursement rate, I feel, should be a reimbursement rate that is across the board. And then we need to ask, is that an appropriate reimbursement rate? And so I would be on and against this amendment. As the good chairman did say, I think this is a good start to start the conversation. And then as we see some of the funds move forward that are in some other options that have come through from our federal partners, that maybe it could lower that overall cost. Obviously, it won't pay salaries, but it could pay some of the overall cost portions and could lower that a little bit. Maybe we find ourselves maybe a little closer into a competitive number, but I think that's just going to be something that takes time to tell.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Pendergraft, for your first time, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just would like to point out to the body, this is yet another example of my contention from earlier conversations that this program is not working. And we continue to have the same reaction to it, which is, well, let's throw a little more money at it. We throw a little bit more money at it, but not, frankly, not nearly enough to fix the problem. So we need to start thinking about how do we transition from a failing system that is not working to something more in line with a free market. I'm going to be a no on the amendment.
Representative Davis, for your first time, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am on and for this. Our local rural EMS are struggling tremendously right now. And here we are just going to bump this up 10%. I don't understand the mindset here. We're having funding issues with our local rural EMS. We keep pulling away tax revenue, special district revenue, reducing this and this, but we're not giving them any tools in their box. I think this is just a small tool in there, and I think it would be good to do this going forward. On and for it.
Thank you, Representative. Any other members for your first time? Representative Conley, for your first time.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Good morning, Representative Conley. How have you been?
I am wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm going to stand in favor of this emotion. I said emotion. That's because I am emotional about this. 100% would be good. 110 would be better. And when it comes to talking about free market ideas to run our EMS, I think if we had a lot of free market ideas out there that would work, we'd probably be doing it. So many of our communities are in need of this service. It's not considered essential. We have a wide range of different types of EMS services. If you've got a BLS service, basic life support, that doesn't cost quite as much. If you have an advanced cardiac life support, ACLS service, that's a lot more expensive. And when you have, you're trying to do the best thing you can for your citizens. And anymore, they expect an ambulance when they need help. It's not like it used to be where you just threw them in a car and drove fast. It's way more advanced than that now, and those advancements are good for our people, but they cost more. So this particular bill is not a Medicaid expansion at all. It's a rate increase. And the very least that we can do to help the services is to vote for this amendment in this bill. So I would appreciate your support.
Thank you, Representative Conley. Representative Clouston, for your first time, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a little history here. You know, we hadn't increased these rates in 14 years. So in committee, we took it from 68% to 100%. So just a little history. This would then take it to 110%. So that's it. It's not like we're just going from 100 to 110. We're going from 68 to now would be 110. So just some knowledge there. And then to the good Speaker Pro Tem's remarks, I put that in for an interim topic. I think this body needs a spending policy on all these programs, whether it's 90% or 100% or 110% of Medicare, instead of us keep picking who gets 60% and who gets 110. So that's an interim topic I put in, and I think as a body next year, we can look at what that would look like. That way we can pick the programs but they'll know what their funding is. They'll know what the budgeting is. So thank you, body.
Thank you, Representative. Any others for the first time on the amendment? This is second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 4. Any others? Second time, going second time on the amendment? Any others? Nope. Okay, back to the bringer. We are Representative Campbell, please, second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
No, I'm very small and ninja. Would absolutely, I think that the really important thing to understand about this amendment and this bill is, as the former, one of our favorite representatives said, emergency medical services are not defined as essential, which is the first problem. The second problem is we have our cities and our counties providing these emergency medical services on our behalf. So it is something that as cities, as counties, as states, we provide. And so our municipalities are providing these services, and at the state and federal level, we're not reimbursing them for the cost of these services. They're doing it on our behalf for our constituents, and we are not reimbursing them. We're saying this is a critical service. We need you to provide this, and we're not going to pay you back for it, which is not sustainable, which is why so many of our municipalities and so many of our counties are losing their ambulance and EMS services because they cannot sustain it. So what we're asking is that we reimburse them from the state and federal level. And as I mentioned, one of the 5 municipalities in my county spent $108,000 and was reimbursed $13,000. That's why they're failing. So as a state, we need to step up and reimburse them for what it actually costs to provide this essential service to the residents of Wyoming. So very much in favor of the amendment and the bill.
Thank you, Representative Campbell. Any other members for the second time? Representative Pendergraft, second time, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to make it clear what I'm trying to say. This amendment is like trying to put a Band-Aid on an amputation. Far insufficient. We do have a problem. An earlier speaker from the land of the camels said we need an interim topic, and I agree. We need to figure out what we're going to do to take care of this issue. But what I don't want to see is we throw a little bit of money at a huge problem and walk away saying, there, I fixed it. No, it takes more than this.
All right, any other members for their second time on the amendment? Seeing none, back to the bringer. Representative Sherwood, please.
Thank you, body, for the great conversation. I do appreciate it. So yeah, I guess you could look at this amendment as a Band-Aid to get us through to the interim where we can have a more holistic conversation around policy on this. But if you were a private entrepreneur and you were making 87 cents on a widget that cost you $1 to make, wouldn't you make an adjustment? And if that adjustment was a Band-Aid or an inflationary adjustment, you would change your policy to make sure you were covering your costs. So I ask you for an aye vote on the amendment. It is pro seniors, pro maternal health when our moms call. It's pro the cost of readiness so that our EMS providers don't have to be in a funding hole, that they can be ready to provide service when we call them. Thank you.
Okay, representatives, thank you, Representative. Representative, you are voting on second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 4. This is a roll call as it has an appropriation. So Chief Clerk, please call the roll.
Ellerman, Andrew, Angelos, Banks, Bear, Brady, Bratton, Brown Gary, Brown Landon, Byron, Campbell Elisa, Campbell Kevin, Chestick, Clouston. Repeat. Connolly, Davis, Erickson, Filer, Fornstrom, Geringer, Guggenmass, Haroldson, Harshman, Heiner, Heft, Jarvis, Johnson, excused. Kelly, excused. Knapp, Larson Lloyd, Larson JT, Lawley, Lean, Locke, Lucas, McCann, Nicholas, Ottman, Pendergraft, Posey, Provenza, Riggins, Rodriguez Williams, Schmid, Sherwood, Singh, Smith, Storer, Strock, Stivar, Tarver, Thayer, Washut, Wasserberger, Webb, Weber, Worf, Williams, Winter, Wiley, Yin. Mr. Speaker, are there any changes? Are there any changes? Riggins, no to aye. Bornstrom, aye to no. Campbell Kevin, aye to no. Klauston, aye to no. Further changes? Further changes? Closing vote? Vote closed. 22 aye, 38 no, 2 excused.
By your vote, you have chosen not to adopt second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File number 4. Senate File number 4, having been read 2 separate times, question shall be read a third time. Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Next member, Senate File for our consideration, Senate File 12. Reading clerk.
Senate File 12, sponsored by Transportation, Wyoming National Guard Reenlistment Bonus Program, and act relating to Defense Forces and Affairs.
Senate File 12 having been read 2 separate times, question shall the bill be read a third time. Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Next Senate File for our consideration, Senate File 13.
Senate File 13, sponsored by Transportation, Wyoming National Guard Member Referral Amendments, and act relating to Defense Forces and Affairs.
Senate File 13 having been read 2 separate times, the question is shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Okay, right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here and do something that we need to take care of. I'm going to call a whole house caucus, and we are going to adjourn or recess briefly to the Chief Supreme Court chamber. We need to chat about on our budget. And so I know I've got 3 amendments coming up on 59. That's going to take some time. And I'd like to get this taken care of and visit with you folks and see what direction you want to go on this so that our joint team can continue those conversations and figure out what our position is going to be on this. And so if you wouldn't mind, the House will stand in recess. Let's all make our way to the Supreme Court chamber briefly, and then we'll be back here. What's that? Until, give us, what time is it currently? Give us about, we should be back here in about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. So let's say we'll be back in here at 11:30. Let's say 11:30, and if we're back here sooner, great. So if we're going to go back and do that, thank you. We'll be in recess until then, or stand at ease.
We have these three that have. Most of it. Yeah, might as well back here, so.
But this one will be better because they have speakers that they're gonna set up. Okay. So that'll be loud.
So we'll start from the mic.
Yeah. We got a mic there. Here.
Okay.
Roadies are gonna have the same type of stage.
Yeah. That's what Kara said.
Roadies are groupies.
Roadies.
You gotta stand behind the stage too.
Good.
They gonna play down.
Down in the valley. Fire doing.
I know the jazz people are setting up in the atrium right now.
It'll be Battle of the Bands. All right.
Fill in. Make your thing.
Ready? Cool names.
All right, members, let's try to get assembled back here in the chamber. I think I've pretty well got most of my members back here from the caucus. House will come back to order. First, before we get started with our special guests here, Representative Larson, JT, you have an announcement for us.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Privilege of the floor.
Please proceed.
Members, the University of Wyoming has brought their MBA students to the Capitol this year to hear directly from those who make decisions for our state in real time. They'll be also be hearing from all 5 members of the SLIB board today and spend time listening to debate in both House and Senate. The College of Business is committed to showing students the opportunities that lie ahead of for them here in Wyoming. So I'd like to welcome them if they could all stand in the galleries here and welcome them to the House.
Good morning and welcome to the House. Glad you're here with us. Hope you picked a good day to be here. You get to enjoy a performance like the rest of the body. Yes, Representative Washut, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Privilege of the floor.
Proceed.
Because time is of the essence, I know some people may be gathering. Your investigation committee completed public testimony last night. So we will not be meeting at noon today. So if there's anyone believing the committee was going to convene again at noon today, we will not. And I just wanted to get that out before we got too close to the noon hour.
Very good. Thank you, Representative. Appreciate you doing that. Representative Harshman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Privilege of the floor.
Yes, please.
I want to introduce a couple of young people from our community. They came down to watch our commercial music here from Casper, Delaney True and Merrill Mattis. Guys, stand up. Welcome to the House. And Mr. Speaker, and again, I know you're going to introduce this fine group of students. Their teacher, Mr. Weiss, was my student back in the day. Tells you how old I am, but from county number one on our license plates. And you just say that to yourself in your head. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and welcome, Mustangs.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome the Natrona Commercial Music from Natrona County High School in Casper under the direction of Sean Weiss. These students participate in an innovative program that prepares them to be working musicians, performing modern music, booking live gigs, managing sound and lighting, recording and releasing music, and overseeing their own promotion and marketing. They perform throughout the community and have opened for the Wyoming Symphony Orchestra Pops in the Park concert. They will perform their take on Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. Yeah, I thought so. You guys are the right age to enjoy and appreciate this. I think myself included. Okay, and the students are here today as guests of the Wyoming Arts Alliance, which is hosting Wyoming Arts and Culture Day in the Capitol. Representatives, please join me in welcoming Natrona Commercial Music. Well, thank you, Natrona Commercial Music, for taking about 30 to 35 years off of all of our lives. And putting us back into buses, driving back and forth. You guys are amazing. What a fantastic group. Very talented, and thank you for taking time and making time to come down and do that here in the chamber. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Congratulations, and look forward to all you guys doing. I know they're gonna scream for an encore, but I do have a chamber here that I need to try to get going. We got some second reading and stuff like that, but unless it's the will of the body, you guys have one more? Do you guys have one more that?
Yeah.
queue up? I would have to believe you would.
Yeah.
So, please, proceed. One more.
Check, check, check. Alrighty, this next song is also known by everybody, but we have our own little commercial music twist to it, so I hope you enjoy.
One, two, three, four.
I'm watching my this feeling, I'm just waiting down. It's gonna slow down. With the feeling. When we roll on my knees, You're playing so cool, all day in every room. People ain't down in your heart. You're turning together for some. Somebody to tell you. Can't take a lesson to back.
Natrona commercial music, what can you say? It's awesome. You guys are fantastic. What a wonderful group of people. Such talented young folks and you instructors. Good on you. Good job. Way to go, guys. Way to do great work with good people. So thank you for taking the time to come and help us and enjoy today and taking us back to school buses and games away from home and being out by the lunch break and listening to this good music. So we will. What was that, Representative Benson? But that goes without saying. I mean, we don't even have to be, so anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Natrona commercial music. So. Okay. Now we know who to get a hold of if we have another one of those late evenings where we're here at 10, we have a midnight. So we'll bring those folks in here at about 8:30, 9 o'clock and let them wind everybody up so we can carry on. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do at this point, we're getting close to noon. We have our JCC is going to be meeting at noon. I've got meetings that are going to have to come up here directly at noon with the Senate for crossover bills. So we're going to go ahead and break for lunch and come back and we will take up Senate File 59 after lunch, so we have time. And we have multiple amendments on that particular piece of legislation. We can get started, have to stop it, or we can go ahead and just come back and start it right at 2 o'clock. So I need a motion from my good majority floor leader to do that.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we stand in recess until 2 p.m.
You have heard the motion. Any committee announcements? Chairman Knapp.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Your number 7 Corporations Committee will meet in 15 minutes to discuss SF 113 engrossed and SF 117 engrossed in room 005.
Thank you, Chairman. Any other committee announcements? Chairman Bear.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Joint Conference Committee for General Appropriations, House Bill 1 and Senate File 1 will be meeting in about 5 minutes in E301 and online.
Okay, very good. Chairman Washit. If you're ready, sir.
Don't have the right sheet with me. I'll get you later.
Okay, all right. Any other chairman? Committee announcements? We are good. All right, you've heard the motion of the good majority floor leader. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. This House will stand in recess until 2 p.m.